For many years, car lovers around the world tuned in to watch one of the most popular automotive TV shows ever made, Wheeler Dealers. The show was simple in idea but powerful in execution. It followed a basic formula: buy a used car at a good price, fix it carefully, and then sell it for a profit. While this concept may sound easy, what made the show truly special was the people behind it. One of the most important figures was Edd China. Known for his tall height, calm personality, and deep knowledge of mechanics, Edd quickly became a favorite among viewers. Unlike many TV mechanics who focused only on results, Edd took the time to explain every step of his work. He showed how each part of a car worked, how problems were identified, and how they could be fixed in a practical way. This made the show not only entertaining but also educational. Viewers felt like they were learning real skills that they could use in their own lives. Alongside Edd was his co-host Mike Brewer, who handled the buying and selling side of the show. Together, they created a perfect balance between business and technical expertise. Mike brought energy and negotiation skills, while Edd brought patience and precision. This combination helped the show grow quickly in popularity. Over time, it became a global success, watched by millions across different countries. The show was also supported by networks like Discovery Channel, which helped bring it to a wide audience. What made Edd stand out even more was his genuine passion. He did not act for the camera or try to create fake drama. Instead, he focused on doing honest work and sharing knowledge. This approach built trust with viewers. People believed in what they saw, and that trust became one of the strongest foundations of the show's success. However, while everything looked smooth and enjoyable on the screen, there were changes slowly happening behind the scenes. As the show became more popular, expectations grew higher. Networks wanted more excitement, faster pacing, and bigger audiences. These demands would eventually create a situation that no one had expected. What started as a simple and honest car restoration show was about to face a turning point that would change everything. The journey of Edd China did not begin on television. Long before he became famous, he was simply a curious child growing up in London. Born on May 9, 1971, Edd was raised in an environment that encouraged creativity and exploration. His father, who worked as an aeronautical engineer, played a major role in shaping his interests. Instead of growing up in a typical home, Edd often found himself surrounded by tools, machines, and mechanical ideas. His house felt more like a small workshop than a living space. This unique environment allowed him to develop skills at a very young age. While many children spent their time playing games or watching television, Edd preferred to take things apart and understand how they worked. He would carefully dismantle objects, study each piece, and then try to rebuild them. This process was not always easy, but it taught him patience and problem-solving. Over time, he developed a deep understanding of how machines function. These early experiences were very important because they shaped the way he approached challenges later in life. Edd did not see problems as obstacles. Instead, he saw them as opportunities to learn and improve. Even in social situations, where he sometimes felt less comfortable, he found confidence when working on technical tasks. This focus became one of his strongest qualities. As he grew older, his interest in engineering continued to develop. He decided to follow this passion by studying engineering product design at university. This decision allowed him to combine creativity with technical knowledge. During his time in education, he did not limit himself to classroom learning. He worked on personal projects that showed his imagination and determination. One of his most famous creations was a working sofa car, which looked like a piece of furniture but could actually be driven on the road. This invention later earned him a Guinness World Record. Projects like these showed that Edd was not only skilled but also willing to think differently. He enjoyed creating things that were both useful and fun. These qualities would later become a key part of his identity on television. His early life was not just about learning mechanics. It was about developing a mindset of curiosity, creativity, and persistence. These traits would play a major role in his future success and would eventually help him stand out in a competitive industry. After completing his education, Edd China began to turn his passion into a professional career. Instead of following a traditional path, he chose to focus on creative engineering projects that combined imagination with technical skill. He started working on unique vehicles and machines that were designed not just for function, but also for entertainment and public interest. One of the key steps in his career was starting his own company, where he built custom vehicles for events, promotions, and media appearances. These projects helped him gain attention and recognition in the industry. His work was different from what most engineers were doing at the time. While many focused on standard designs, Edd explored unusual ideas that captured people's curiosity. His creations were often surprising, fun, and highly original. This ability to think outside the box became one of his greatest strengths. Over time, his reputation grew, and more opportunities began to appear. His projects were featured in various media outlets, which helped introduce his work to a wider audience. This exposure eventually opened the door to television. When Wheeler Dealers was first created, the producers were looking for someone who could bring real mechanical knowledge to the screen. Edd was a perfect fit. He was not only skilled but also able to explain complex ideas in a simple and clear way. This made him ideal for a show that aimed to educate as well as entertain. From the very beginning, he brought a unique style to the program. Instead of rushing through repairs, he took the time to show each step in detail. He explained why certain problems occurred and how they could be fixed properly. This approach helped viewers understand the process and feel more connected to the work being done. As the show grew in popularity, Edd became one of its most important figures. His calm personality and clear explanations made him relatable and trustworthy. People felt like they were learning from a real expert, not just watching a performance. This authenticity was rare in television and became one of the main reasons for the show's success. However, as the program continued to grow, new challenges began to emerge. The demands of television production started to change, and the focus of the show slowly began to shift. What once started as a simple and educational concept was now facing pressure to evolve into something more fast-paced and dramatic. As Wheeler Dealers continued to grow, it became one of the most recognized car shows in the world. The partnership between Edd China and Mike Brewer was at the center of this success. Their different roles created a strong balance that kept the show interesting and engaging. Mike focused on finding good deals and negotiating prices, while Edd handled the technical side of restoring the cars. This combination allowed viewers to see both the business and mechanical aspects of car flipping. Over time, the show developed a loyal fan base. People enjoyed not only the transformations of the vehicles, but also the learning experience. Edd's detailed explanations became a key feature of the program. He showed how to fix problems step by step, making even complex repairs seem understandable. This educational approach set the show apart from many others in the same genre. While some programs focused on drama and quick results, Wheeler Dealers focused on quality and knowledge. However, success often brings new challenges. As the audience grew larger, the expectations from producers and networks also increased. Companies like Discovery Channel wanted the show to appeal to an even wider audience. This meant making changes to the format. The episodes needed to be faster, more exciting, and more visually engaging. Editing became quicker, and some of the detailed workshop scenes were shortened. These changes were made to attract viewers who preferred entertainment over education. While this strategy may have helped increase viewership, it also began to change the core identity of the show. For Edd, this was a serious concern. He believed that the detailed repair process was the most important part of the program. It was what made the show unique and valuable. Reducing this content meant losing the educational aspect that many fans loved. At the same time, production moved to the United States, which brought higher costs and increased pressure. Filming became more demanding, and schedules became tighter. Despite these challenges, Edd continued to maintain his high standards. He remained committed to doing proper work and explaining it clearly. However, the growing difference between his approach and the network's expectations was becoming harder to ignore. What started as small changes slowly turned into a larger issue that would eventually lead to a major turning point in the show's history. As time went on, the tension between Edd China and the production direction of Wheeler Dealers became more serious. While the show continued to appear successful on the surface, there were growing disagreements behind the scenes. The main issue was the balance between education and entertainment. Edd strongly believed that the workshop segments, where repairs were explained in detail, were the heart of the show. For him, these parts were not just content, they were the reason why the show existed. They allowed viewers to learn real skills and understand the mechanics of cars. However, from the perspective of the network and producers, these detailed segments took too much time. They wanted to make the show faster and more appealing to a broader audience. This meant cutting down on explanations and focusing more on quick transformations and dramatic moments. This difference in vision created a conflict that became harder to resolve. Edd found himself in a difficult position. On one hand, he wanted to stay true to his values and maintain the quality of the show. On the other hand, he was working in an industry that required compromise. Over time, it became clear that the changes being requested would significantly alter the nature of the program. For Edd, this was not something he could accept. After 13 years on the show, he made the decision to leave. This announcement came as a shock to fans around the world. Many people had grown used to seeing him as a central part of the show. His calm presence and clear explanations had become a defining feature. Without him, the show felt different. His departure was not just about one person leaving a job. It represented a larger issue within the television industry, the struggle between maintaining quality and meeting commercial demands. Fans reacted strongly, with many expressing disappointment and concern about the future of the show. Some felt that the program would lose its educational value, while others understood the pressures faced by production teams. Regardless of different opinions, one thing was clear: Edd China had left a lasting impact. His approach to teaching and his commitment to quality had set a high standard that would be difficult to replace. Even after leaving Wheeler Dealers, Edd China continued to play an important role in the automotive world. His departure did not mark the end of his career. Instead, it opened new opportunities for him to explore different paths. He began focusing more on independent projects, online content, and educational work. Through platforms like YouTube, he was able to connect directly with his audience without the limitations of traditional television. This allowed him to continue sharing his knowledge in a way that stayed true to his original values. Fans who appreciated his detailed explanations were able to follow his work and continue learning from him. His influence remained strong because he had built trust over many years. People respected his honesty, his skills, and his dedication to quality. At the same time, Wheeler Dealers continued without him, but many viewers felt that something was missing. The balance between education and entertainment had shifted, and the show no longer felt the same to some fans. This situation highlighted the importance of authenticity in media. Edd's success was not just based on his technical ability, but also on his genuine approach. He did not try to create artificial drama or exaggerate situations. Instead, he focused on real work and clear communication. This made him stand out in an industry that often prioritizes entertainment over accuracy. His story also serves as an example of how personal values can influence career decisions. Choosing to leave a successful show after many years is not easy, but for Edd, it was necessary to stay true to what he believed in. Today, he is remembered as one of the most respected figures in automotive television. His impact goes beyond one show. He helped change the way people think about car restoration and education on TV. His legacy continues through the skills he taught and the inspiration he provided to viewers around the world. In the end, the story of Edd China is not just about leaving a show. It is about staying true to your passion, even when faced with difficult choices. When Edd China officially announced that he was leaving Wheeler Dealers, the reaction from fans was immediate and powerful. Viewers from around the world expressed shock, confusion, and even disappointment. For many, Edd was not just a part of the show, he was the reason they watched it. His calm nature, detailed explanations, and honest approach had created a deep connection with the audience. When news of his departure spread online, social media platforms quickly filled with comments, discussions, and debates. Some fans supported his decision, understanding that he wanted to stay true to his values. Others were frustrated, feeling that the show they loved would never be the same again. This reaction showed just how important Edd had become to the identity of the program. It also highlighted the growing role of audiences in shaping the success of television content. In the past, viewers had limited ways to share their opinions. But in the modern digital age, fans can directly express their thoughts and influence public perception. Edd himself addressed the situation through online videos, where he calmly explained the reasons behind his decision. He made it clear that his choice was not based on personal conflict, but on creative differences about the direction of the show. He emphasized that the reduction of detailed workshop content was something he could not agree with. These videos helped clarify the situation and allowed fans to hear his side of the story directly. As a result, many people gained a deeper understanding of the challenges he faced. However, the discussion did not end there. The departure also raised broader questions about the future of educational content in entertainment. Many viewers began to wonder whether other shows would face similar changes. Would quality and depth continue to be replaced by speed and excitement? This debate became an important part of the conversation surrounding Edd's exit. At the same time, Mike Brewer also responded to the situation, sharing his perspective and expressing his respect for Edd. While opinions differed, it was clear that both individuals had played significant roles in the success of the show. In the end, the strong reaction from fans demonstrated the impact that one person can have on a global audience. It also showed that viewers value authenticity and honesty, even in a world where entertainment often takes priority. After Edd China left Wheeler Dealers, the show continued with a new mechanic, but the overall feel of the program began to change. While the basic format remained the same, buy, fix, and sell cars, the way the story was presented became different. The workshop segments, which were once detailed and educational, became shorter and more focused on results rather than the process.